All right, here we go. So we're just going to go right into it.
Okay.
Because you're nervous.
I am.
Good. I like that, though. Own it. Own it. So podcasting from the Paradise Studios in Massapequa, Long Island, you are experiencing a third school board edition of the Tom Kelly Show. First, the folks at Paradise Studios know that the Massapequa School Board election on May 19th is important. And Bobby, a different Bobby at Paradise Studios, who is a local businessman for over 10 years and 25 years in the business, shared his beautiful podcasting studio, Paradise Studios, where they have podcasting classes for adults. They have podcasting classes for summer camp type things for kids. And if you're doing something for work or trying to be silly, he's the guy to come to. Paradise Studios. Did I say it enough, Bobby? Got it. There we go. We have now paid for the set. That said, I am now here with Cher Lepre, who is running for school board. She's incredibly nervous.
Yes, I am.
And I'm okay with that. She said it 5 times, so that's a great way to disarm me. And we had a great interview with Bobby. I just interviewed either 5 minutes ago or last week. I interviewed your running mate Danielle, and I asked her this question. My mom, who's worked in education, likes to say that anybody who runs for school board, which is a voluntary job,
yes, is
either going to be a career politician or they are crazy. Does that apply? Which one applies to you?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm crazy, and I definitely don't think that I want to be a career politician. So, but never say never, because you never know what's coming down the pike.
Okay, but you're on your 3rd term doing this.
Yes.
So you've done 4 years.
I've done 7 years.
Okay.
So 7. So I won a 1-year seat the first time I ran in 2019, and then they're 3-year terms. So then I've run 2 more times since that. So I've completed 7 years.
Okay. Why are you going for 8 and 9?
Well, I love our community. I mean, that's basically it. I love everything about Massapequa, Massapequa Park. My husband grew up here. My mother grew up here. My boys love it here. I think we've really had a nice life here, and we want to keep it that way. I'm invested in the community. I started as a PTA volunteer. I was a scout leader. I mentioned in Meet the Candidates Night that I've helped over 20 young men attain the Eagle rank status.
Oh, so you're a Boy Scout leader?
Well, I retired in last summer in 2025 when my son graduated. My youngest eagled and my oldest. And once he graduated, I passed over the baton to somebody else, another willing volunteer.
Okay. So you're so kind, and you're not soft-spoken. That's not the word, but you're kind. Massapequa has made national news.
Okay.
So much. You don't strike me as a person who would drag her, not drag, but I feel like what's the word? You're kind of getting pulled in or drafted into national politics. Is that a lot for you first?
I would say it is a lot for me. I wouldn't shy away from that statement, but I think you have to stick to your convictions and what you believe in, and I am passionate about that. I'm decisive, and when I make a decision, I like to follow through with it.
So the first one is Save the Chief, which I am somewhat known for being pro Save the Chief. I've done a 20-minute podcast on saving the chief, and I have, but they're nuanced.
Okay.
The school board is suing to keep our beloved mascot, the Massapequa Chief. Why do you think that's a worthy lawsuit?
Well, first I want to say, anytime we spend taxpayer money, for me, I'm a very thrifty person. A scout is thrifty. My husband and I have taught our kids to be very responsible with money, fiscally responsible. We're trying to teach them you're not to have school loans, no debt, anything like that. So that's my background. I have a financial background. My dad was a CPA. He was a teacher first, by the way. So this is the kind of background that we grow up in. So repeat the question again.
No, well, I mean, I guess question one is, why is that? So I love that you just said, so that you don't feel like you're on the spot. I heard you say you know that the lawsuits cost money, and you're wise when you're spending taxpayer money.
Right, and don't forget, it's our money too. We pay taxes.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're immune to it. So it is a big decision.
So with that wisdom, why is it worth fighting to save the Massapequa Chief?
Well, first of all, there's some conflicting information out there. The first time we were given a cost of what it was going to estimate to rebrand everything was over $2 million. So right off the bat, I'm a business decision kind of gal. So if we're going to spend $200,000 to save than $1.8 million, I think it's worth it to try. The other thing is it's just ridiculous. The word chief is not a Native American name. And I just want to clear up some things. I'm sure Danielle did too. The state was not allowing anyone to keep their name because immediately Wantaw Warriors said, we'll get rid of the imagery. That's what they call the logo, the Indian head, whatever you want to call it. But we like to call it the imagery or the logo. So the state said, no way. If it was ever associated with, the logo was ever associated with the word that you are now, the Chiefs, the Warriors, you cannot use it or any derivative.
Yeah, because I would have loved, I would have loved police or fire chief if we had to give it up, but I've been told we can't even do that.
No, you can't use that. So a couple of things. So Wantaw begged the state, and they were with us too in the beginning with the lawsuit. There was a couple of schools. Wyandanch had a deal with the local tribe, and the state.
But it fell apart.
Right. The state wouldn't allow it. This is coming from the state. It's unfortunate. The other thing is since you brought up Mrs. Dowell before.
Okay.
Mrs. Dowell.
So hang on, just for those of you just tuning in, Cher is friends with my dad's friend, Mrs. Dowell. I've been told she has a first name. I'm not allowed to use it. And so now. So
I'll use it. Leslie Dowell was the Council of PTA Presidents for years. And she actually met with the Shinnecocks years ago because this has been an ongoing thing. And the Shinnecocks said to her at the time, as long as you use it respectfully and not a caricature.
Which we do. I mean, that's
we
my
do
argument.
use it respectfully, right.
No, like in the 1970s, we used to have somebody dance around as a chief. We don't do that anymore.
No.
We don't go woo woo woo. We don't do anything. We don't. It's not a redskin.
So funny you should bring that up. So this is another thing I brought up at Meet the Candidates Night. We had NAGA come out. These are the National Association Guardianship of Native Americans. I probably messed that up a little bit, but they refer to themselves as NAGA. And they flew in from South Dakota, from Oklahoma, Connecticut. And we met with these lovely men. They were Native Americans. And by the way, they like to be called American Indians. They corrected us.
Yeah, well, and it's different group to group. I'm with you.
Right. So we had a lovely breakfast with them at the diner. Community members were invited. They put it out on Facebook. A nice community member picked up the bill. And I brought up that because when this first all went down, East Islip reached out to us, and they are the Redmen. And I said, you guys, you don't stand a chance. You have to change your name. And I was reiterating the story to these Native Americans or American Indians, and they said, why? And I said, well, the connotation to me is that red man has a derogatory tone. And they said, why? And I said, well, that's just the history. Like, I feel like I'm Italian. If you called me a guinea, I would be offended, right? So he said the bravest people wore red, and they were considered the most courageous, and they were the warriors, and they don't find it offensive. So when you actually speak to people who are Native American or American Indian, and you hear it from their perspective, they also use the word educate, not eradicate, and they begged us to keep fighting.
Okay. Now, one thing I don't, so for as much as I am pro Save the Chief, one argument I argue with is people say once a chief, always a chief, blah, blah, blah. But we used to have the burner bisons.
Yes.
There's not a single bison left in that building. No, like, but just...
Right, my husband was the last class to attend burner as a high school.
Yeah, right. But calling BS on the rebranding argument. Somehow we rebranded burner and got rid of all the bisons.
Right.
When I went to McKenna as a 7th grade center in the year 1988, we were the Warriors. Somehow they're calling everybody there a chief.
Right.
I think it was
Junior Chiefs,
I think Birch Lane got it. Someone tell me which one this is.
Oh.
My elementary school, it was like the Birch Lane Burts.
Oh, Uncle was Rocky Raccoon. They're the raccoons.
But do they still have them, or do they get rid of those?
I think they're allowed to still have them. And McKenna has rebranded. I think they're a Wolverine or a wolf or a cub or something like that. Yes.
Okay. So my thing is, are we really that? Would the world end if we gave up chief?
I don't think it would end, but I also, again, it's a money thing. If you look at it from just being fiscally responsible, is it worth it to try to fight it to not spend another $1.8 million to rebrand everything? And it is our identity, and the kids do believe that. And I think it is a proud word. We're teaching our kids to be leaders, and that's what a chief is. It's a leader.
Listen, not to insert my politics into your campaign, but listen, they're not asking to get rid of the Seaford Viking.
Right.
They're not asking my old high school, Long Island Lutheran High School, to get rid of the Crusaders, which they were really mean. Like we could go down a list of other...
Well, I'll share with you that Brentwood changed their name, I believe they were the Brentwood Indians, and they switched right away to the Spartans, and they're being sued now by a community member because they said the Spartans were even worse. They were horrible. They plummeted, and killed,
whatever
and,
the rule
whatever.
is. I don't like the way they wrote
Right.
the rule. That's for darn sure. And then you're right. I don't know. I like my blue and gold when I drive home. I do think the chief is respectful. How much are we spending on the lawsuits?
It's 0.08 of our budget. It's less than 1%.
Okay.
So the chief lawsuit costs about $18 a household. Do you think it's worth it for $20 to try to save the Chiefs?
I do, but now the question is, every $20 we spend on saving the chief, that's $20 I'm not spending on sending my parents to a cheap nursing home one day.
Yes, I understand.
But
Right.
for some people, they don't care.
Right. I think some people want us to fight, and I think there's a small minority that want us to not keep it
here's
going.
the argument that was used against you. For me, I'll give you 20. I'll give you 100 out of my own pocket to help save the chief. But I know we hit the property cap tax this year, and you could explain this in better words for me. Are we taking money out of kids' pockets to save the chief?
I would say no. And again, it's 0.08% of the budget. And I feel, again, that if we had to spend $2 million and we're only going to spend a couple $100,000, is it worth it? Is it what's the fiscal responsibility?
Here's my question: is it at the end of the day? And I'm going to agree with you with either answer.
Okay.
Are we really doing it for the money, or are we doing it for the heart?
For me, well, I think for the community, I would say it's for the heart. But we make business decisions behind those closed doors all the time, whether it be, there's other lawsuits going on that people don't know about that are obviously private, and there's staff issues. We make business decisions all the time. Okay. And I think that that's always my first question, because I have a business background, is what is it going to cost? And what's the outcome going to be? Is it going to be the same thing? And then we don't have to, pull our staff out and have them go and do defense and that kind of a thing. So I think sometimes it comes down to a business decision.
So I love how you and I are talking to each other. I love your tone. In fact, I'd argue, Danielle had me on my toes. Okay. You have me disarmed. Okay. The way, and I have no kids, I have nieces and nephews in the district. They're actually graduating. The last 2 nephews in the district are graduating in June. I'm not as invested.
So how did they feel about it?
One was very pro-chief, and I didn't ask the other. Okay. One was pro-chief without giving away his secret identity.
That's fine.
And the other was, I did not ask. Okay. And that said, what I find weird is how I think the tone of this election is meaner than last elections, right? Or is it more intense?
Well, I think it's intense.
You've done it 3 times. Is this different? How's this election? Yeah, that's how I should have asked it.
Okay.
Yeah, the smart way to say, how is this election cycle different than the last 3?
Well, the first time I ran, it was 4 people running for 2 open seats, and one of them, like I explained, was a 1-year seat. I was finishing up a board member who had left the board, and then whoever got the most votes got the 3-year seat, and that was Allison Staken, and I lost to her by, I think, 14 votes. So that's how important it is to come out and vote. So
really?
14 votes.
Okay.
So then the next year, it was COVID, it was 2020. And Gary Baldinger and I had to rerun again because I had to finish out the term, right? It was 1-year term. So Gary and I ran together, and we had 6 people running for 2 spots. And because it was mail-in ballots, I think there was over 10,000 people voting. Normally the election's about 3,500. And running with Gary was great. He's a homegrown Massapequa guy, but I have to tell everybody the story. I met Gary Baldinger in 1998. He only had 2 kids at the time. My husband and I were doing pre-Cana at St. Rose Church, and him and his lovely wife Denise, she's actually a teacher at Ames. They were our pre-Cana instructors.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I met Gary. I've known Gary for over 25 years.
So I'll tell you what's dragging me into this.
Okay.
Is there's a lot of mean, anonymous comments about this election. I'm members of the groups where your opponents would be pooped on more than you. Like I'm in the more conservative Facebook groups. I'm not in what we might call a liberal local group, for lack of. I'm getting my news from anonymous commentators, including Breathtaking Papaya 7994, Breathtaking Frog 7542, Breathtaking Papaya 7993, Anonymous Participant 690, Anonymous Participant 191, Sunny Asparagus 3732, Gold Pomegranate 1640, Clever Peacock 6725, and Pink Jaguar 876. There's a lot of people posting news and opinions about our kids, something that's very important, without their faces on it. How do you feel about the tone of this election?
I'll be honest, I'm not crazy about it, but for my own mental health, I don't look at any of these posts because it would keep me up awake all night, and I have to focus on what we're here to do, which is take care of the students and our school district and the community.
I love it. Now, this is one I didn't, I don't know if this was Freedom of Information Act or leaked.
Okay.
Did you see this one, that there's a post, this came out after I interviewed him, so I couldn't ask him about it. Woman Melanie Cohen posted in the Massapequa Moms group. The picture has a quote of him saying, lowest common denominator of intelligence. It's him talking about the mask policy in COVID times, whatever year it was. It says it's forwarded by the board. It has names redacted that I think are his kids' names. Bobby has admitted to writing this email where he's in trouble for using the phrase lowest common denominator of intelligence, talking about mask views, which I almost don't want to harp on because it's not relevant right now. Okay. Why is it you made a face? Wait, hang on.
So wait, I want to address a couple things. So first of all, I don't know who Melanie Cohen is, and I also want to say that this was not forwarded from the board, and you can tell that because it is redacted. So this was foiled. It must have been foiled by somebody, and they redacted. I don't know if it had his names on it or. Some maybe it had his address, who knows, whatever it is. So that's why that right there is proof that the board did not forward that. So
this is for Pink Jaguar 875.
Okay.
Where did this come from, do we think?
They probably foiled it.
And forgive me, I'm silly.
Okay.
Or don't know.
Freedom of Information
Act. I know what the
Act.
Freedom of Information Act is, but they wrote the school board and the school board had to give it to them?
Well, not the school board. It goes to the school. So yes, you send an email and you can foil. They foiled how much the lawsuits cost. So you can foil anything. But if it does have private information on it like this, they will redact it. So that's why we have a rule at the Board of Ed meetings when we do public comment. We don't want you to talk about your children. If you say my daughter, won an art award, that's fine. But if you're like, my daughter is Chloe and she's in 3rd grade and she won an art award, we really don't want you to put it out. Or sometimes, people come to us with serious things. Maybe they have a special needs child. We don't want them to say their name or their grade.
Now, and just two people shooting the breeze and giving you an opportunity to address something. I think you said it. You did not leak that.
No, absolutely not.
And your running mate did not leak that.
No, absolutely not.
There you go.
It was foiled. But to talk about the mask, because I do want to address it.
Makes me giggle every time, right?
I know. My husband's like, what does that mean?
Foiled again!
But the mask, if you said you don't have children. My children lived through this. They were in high school and in middle school and at Ames when this was going on. And it was terrible. It was a terrible time. And the kids were sitting in science class, ironically, follow the science, and then they would walk across the street to the bagel cafe and share French fries and, drink out of each other's cups and sit on each other's laps and who was making out with who. And then they go back to science class and then have to be separated by these plastic dividers and wear a mask. So it was kind of, to me, pointless.
The world was inconsistent at a certain point. I mean, and without getting out, I don't want to harp on COVID. My career was ruined by it without getting too into it. I was working at a bunch of TV shows and what I find awful about politics right now is nobody's able to sit down, talk to each other, and sell their point of view. There's a lot of yelling at each other. What I like about you is you're kind of selling me on things.
Well, I also believe these are my convictions, and I don't expect you to believe them. But I have friends that are on different sides of the political spectrum all the time, and they're still my friends because we don't talk about politics. I have my best friend. I know where her husband stands on politics, and he shares my viewpoints. And somebody said to me, "Well, what about Becky? What does Becky think of this?" And I said, "I don't know, because we talk about what time are we going out on the boat? Where are we going out to dinner, and where's our next vacation? Those are the things that." Is what flows our conversation.
So it's just funny. Danielle brought this up before. I kind of asked her this, but you were on the board the longest. Masks, whatever it is, what policy on We're suing about masks in the classroom,
Right.
keeping our Native American logo, and transgender bathroom policies. When I turn on the news,
Okay.
the only school district that is involved in the lawsuit 3/4 at a time is Massapequa. Why are we the only ones standing up for America?
Just so you know, we didn't initiate the transgender locker room issue. That was not initiated by us.
That's what I would love to have explained more to someone who's not as involved in daily politics.
I'm a little hesitant because I don't have the lawyers sitting next to me to say what we're allowed to say, but I will just say that we did not change our policy. The policy was always there.
I'll tell you what I know.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what Danielle pretty much said was that we have a policy.
Yes.
Say what the policy is.
You have to use your the gender that you were born
Gender
as.
of your birth.
Right.
Okay. And believe me, I'm afraid of ruining my future career with this conversation too. I want to make sure I get it right and in a loving tone.
Right.
So I apologize to future me for this. But we pulled back the policy. Or no, I'm sorry. Somebody in this, there's a student whose family is sued over the policy, and we have since rescinded the policy. Is that a fair? And now we're suing to get the policy back?
No. I really don't want to say too much because it is an active lawsuit, but we did not initiate the lawsuit. I want that to be very clear. So that I can say. I spoke with, the lawyers beforehand, and they said be very cautious about what you say. But we did not initiate this lawsuit, and we've made every accommodation to accommodate all students. We have, just for the record, because
how do we take it off the lawsuit then? I want to know because I want you to feel
we have
good here.
So years ago, before I was even on the board, the state mandated you have to provide gender-neutral spaces. So we have a gender-neutral locker room. We have single occupancy bathrooms. We also have a rule now in place that you don't have to change, and you can also use the nurse's room if you need to have some extra privacy there.
Okay.
So there's accommodations made for, I feel like, all students.
I feel like whatever is going on with this lawsuit, and we're done talking about the lawsuit itself, but I feel like that's become a distraction for bigger educational issues.
Absolutely. And I want to get a point across. We sit at these meetings for 2 hours. We have our cabinet put on these beautiful presentations. We're honoring student athletes, student artists, DECA club members, all these wonderful things that we do, and then people get up and they focus on the lawsuits, and that's it. And it's like, you just sat through a beautiful presentation about secondary education, and then we honored the athletes, and we honored the artists, and we had the play come up and give you a demonstration of our beautiful play that's like a Broadway production.
Right.
And this is all you're focusing on. Look at all the good that we're doing. Look at all the amazing schools our kids are getting into. Look at the fact that we have a career fair now, not just a college fair, that we're one of the biggest schools that send our kids to vocational training. Why are you not looking at all the good that we do?
So I love all that. Why do you think, without taking the other person's side for a second, why are they not focusing on all the great things you just talked about?
Because they're trying to get on the board, so they're going to pick apart the few little things that we disagree with.
Okay, good. So since you're bringing the opponent in, I'm bringing him in. Is he being fine? I talked to him. I like him.
He's very well spoken.
He spoke
very objective.
He was had kind words about Danielle and said he hadn't had a chance to meet you one-on-one yet.
We met on Meet the Candidates night.
Okay, so that's after I interviewed him.
Yes.
What do you think of him?
I think he's very well spoken.
Okay. Is he being financed by Kamala Harris and George Soros?
I think he's being, who spends $10,000 of their own money on a campaign?
I'll tell you exactly. As a comedian who's had a lot of crappy dreams and our producers in the corner, we've spent a lot of money on stuff going nowhere. I think he's running for office down the road. See, I think that's a, see, I even think who's paying for his campaign is a distraction.
He said it's not his running mate, but the other opponent has run for office and lost. She ran against Legislator James Kennedy.
Right.
And she lost. So yes, she does have political aspirations because she's already run.
Okay, and so would you ever run for something? Because you're another thoughtful person.
Would I? I would never say never, but I don't think that's my dream.
So here's what's fun about you versus the other two people I've talked to. No, you were just talking about the education.
Right.
We spent so much time talking about the chief and the bathrooms and the masks. We didn't talk about the education. What are we doing right in Massapequa for education, and what could we be doing better?
Well, just so you know, I work actually in education.
What do you do?
I
thought you were in finance. I
Well,
apologize.
that was years ago. I worked in Merrill Lynch in the city for years, and when I had my second son, he was born 2 months early, so I had to retire, and I worked for a local doctor, Dr. Serpi. I'm going to give Dr. Serpi a shout out. Do you know Sal Serpi?
No, but
Okay.
what a great name to say, Sal Serpi.
And his son, Andrew, who's my age, and we worked together for 7 years. It was one of the best experiences. I actually worked with him during COVID. We helped many patients. He's an incredible doctor, an incredible man, Andrew. And after that, I decided that I needed a full-time job, and I took the civil service test, and I'm an administrative assistant at a local high school, and I deal with special ed.
Okay.
So I'm in charge of CPSE placements, which stands for preschool, and out-of-district placements.
So preschool is one of the things your opponent keeps talking about. Well, like
Okay.
universal pre-K.
Right.
Now, I've had jokes. The jokes fell flat last time, right? Yeah. I had jokes about. So jokes aside,
Right.
you and Danielle are not against universal pre-K.
No, of course not.
But you don't think Massapequa can provide it.
Well,
is that a fair sentence?
I would say it's a fair sentence if you added the word, is this sustainable? Because with the amount of money that the state gives us.
So dumb it down for
Okay.
someone just reading
Right.
comments from Sunny Asparagus 3732.
So the biggest thing is the space, right? We don't have the space in our buildings, but we can have other local preschools. We could actually just like cash flow the money to them.
But don't we have, and again,
Right.
my brain is in 1994 is probably.
Okay.
Don't we still have Hawthorne empty?
We do, and that's actually, no, it's being renovated. It's being renovated. BOCES is renovating it and renting it with us.
And then we sold Carmen's Road.
We sold Carmen's Road before I was on the board.
Okay. So we're running out of space.
Right. So Hawthorne is unfortunately off the table. That would have been a good spot. But here's the thing. So the state says, okay, here, we're going to give you $2 million. But you can't use it for seed money. You can't use it for renovations. That building it was the police academy. It had no kitchen. It had no bathrooms. In order to renovate this for preschool to be fitted, you have to have toilets 14 inches off the floor. All these rules are in place. Again, there's no kitchen. You have to be able to provide food. So BOCES is helping us with the renovations, and then we're going to get about $1 million in rent from that building.
Okay.
So that's already in place. So we don't really have room in our buildings to fit this. But again, we can use local preschools. In the district that I work at, we have UPK.
Now, what does that mean? That you subsidize them going to?
You wouldn't really subsidize them. The state gives you $5,400 per student, and then let's say Massapequa Reformed wanted to host the pre-K. We would just give them that money. But it's not profitable. So this is the thing. People are saying pre-K costs $20,000 a year. So how do you think it's profitable for these pre-Ks to get $5,400 for the year? So this is how they're making their money, is before and after care. But it's still not enough to sustain the whole program. So now the state is talking about raising the budget was due April 1st. Today is what, May 4th?
Yeah, state politics don't get me started.
Right.
Yeah.
So the budget isn't in yet. They have another couple of extenders in place. So if she raises it to $10,000, it might attract some of these local preschools to want to take it on, and we just pay them the money.
Which I think is an entirely preschool business now.
Yes. So they could host it, but here's the thing. The state says you can't have any faith-based formation or curriculum. So you can't even say like a little grace. Like my kids went to Massapequa Reform. They usually said a little grace before the snack. It was so cute. They came home with holidays.
So it has to be totally not religious.
Right.
Okay.
So, and that's up for the churches to decide if, like Grace Day or even St. Rose, if they wanted to do it, do they want to give up their curriculum?
Okay. And yeah.
But we're willing to revisit it if the state comes up with some more money.
So there's a dollar amount in your head where you would not necessarily do it in a school building that you and I might have grown up with, but in a church or something.
Well, if we had the room, I think we would do it. But I also think that you have to look at it again from a cost. People don't like to hear it, but I also tell my kids there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? I mean, come on, we can agree on that.
Yeah, no, I had to buy lunch tickets even in school. Yeah, even in school.
So there's nothing for free. And I also want to clear up that people think it's for ages 3 and 4. It's only for ages 4. And again, we're not opposed to it, but it has to make sense financially because we don't want to burden the senior taxpayers, again, with another cost. We all paid for our own preschool, and now you're going to pay for everybody else's for the rest of your life.
Okay.
So I'll just throw this at you because people don't know this. No. Do you know that New York State now provides free lunch for every single student?
You know what? I don't think I realized that, but in Massapequa, do we take advantage of that?
Everyone does.
In the high school?
In the high school.
Like I'm almost at
every
lunch. I'm
school
always
in New York
running
State.
people over as they're going to that granola place.
But if they wanted to go have lunch in the cafeteria, they would get a free hot lunch, whatever the hot lunch is that day. So you can't go in there and buy chips and you know we don't sell right chips and an ice cream. I don't know what they have in there. But
Right.
if the hot lunch is brunch for lunch, everyone gets that for free.
God, I want to go back to school. Is the food good?
Well, you have to ask the kids.
Okay,
well, I guess
that's the biggest campaign dodge right there. That's the biggest campaign dodge right there. So keeping it fun for a minute. What are the great things about Massapequa School District, and what are the things we need to improve on?
I think our staff. I think we have some of the best staff. A lot of them live here. Bill Brennan, I was instrumental in hiring him, so I think he's wonderful. He's a people person.
And he's the superintendent?
He's the superintendent. I think the programs that we have, again, if you look at all the wonderful things we have a seal of biliteracy, we have AP capstone classes, AP classes, college classes. There's so many opportunities, and I think that's what our goal is, to give something for everybody. We want all the kids to be able to find their pathway.
What are we missing?
What are we missing? Oh, that's a good question. I think there's always room for improvement. And as things come up, like we find out about this new seal of biliteracy thing was a new thing. College credits, which it seems to be kind of flowing away from the AP classes to more of the college credit classes. What are we missing? I don't know. We're bringing in things, like I said, we're focusing on the career fairs, not just the college fairs.
Yeah.
Showing kids.
Actually, jokes aside, I mean, it's funny. It's nice to see you bringing the conversation to an educational thing. Are our high school graduates prepared for AI? Steve over there has been put out of work by it, and now he's helping me make dumb videos for Instagram. So,
I think this is I think everybody is afraid of AI because I said to my husband something the other day. Well, if you're in the medical field, he's like, who knows? Maybe they're going to have the robots doing the surgery. You never know.
Yeah. No, and it's very real. Like Steve and I were talking about just even on graphics that you could do, things that would take weeks are now being done in seconds and for free without labor.
Right. It's incredible. I think. What I think we could do better at, and it's not just Massapequa, it's education in general. So we have these new, I guess, majors or jobs that we need filled, right? So one of the things for the last couple of years is we need librarians, right?
Do we?
Yes. Because they're the ones in the library. They're a little bit more technical. It's not just reading books now. They're teaching them how to do all these things, and especially at the secondary levels. So the state mandates that we need more librarians because we can fill it with a regular teacher, but we have to get a dispensation, all these things. So
I could be a librarian.
Right. So now cybersecurity is a new major that just came out, right?
Yeah, that's actually huge.
My son went to college at Coastal Carolina. They had a major. It was like how to be in the CIA or the FBI, all these cool things. So I think there needs to be more communication. And again, this is not just Massapequa, this is everybody, on where are the jobs that need to be filled. We have a pilot shortage.
Yes, my nephew is going to Farmingdale for piloting school.
Right. So I wish the schools would talk to I don't know who you talk to. Do we talk to the colleges? Do we talk to, companies, major companies, and say, hey, where are the jobs? Because the end goal is to get a job.
And jokes aside, you're on the board. What are you doing? It sounds like you're bringing vocational stuff in. Like how many hours a week do you put into school board stuff?
Don't show my husband this, but
it's a lot.
No, it's a lot.
It's not any, and I'm not asking that as a gotcha question.
No.
I've been told it's quite a bit.
So we start Thursdays at 6:00 in executive. There are nights we don't get out of there till 11:30. I always feel bad because we have a 5-minute ride home. The administrators, some of them have an hour ride home. So we're there every other Thursday for a couple hours, and then there's a ton of reading that we do behind the scenes. They're giving us packets to read, presentations to read, issues, weekly updates. So that's what you have to keep up on.
All right, we're gonna get you out of here. Actually,
okay.
We're having a good interview. I'm having a good time talking to you.
Okay.
These are questions from the Massapequa Matters groups. You talked about, you hit the locker room.
All right.
Varying Bert. I don't like the way they wrote this in the do you have to be in the gender of your birth to compete in a sport?
I would agree.
Okay. You answered the Chiefs logo thing. Common Core state testing. Are we doing good at that right now, or?
We have a big opt-out movement in Massapequa. So
what does that mean?
So it means that the parents don't want the kids to take the state test. So originally, I could talk to you for an hour about this.
I'd love to, actually.
Okay.
But there we go.
So So back in the day, our old governor, Andrew Cuomo, wanted this Common Core, right? And he put this out there. And I heard from big politicos that it was supposed to be very hard in the beginning, and then as he continued to put out the test, it was going to get easier, and it was going to look like he saved the education in the state of New York, right?
That was a conspiracy theory on it? Okay.
Now, the teachers were very upset, and rightfully so, because it was tied to their APPR, which is like their evaluation process. So if the kid has a bad grade, a bad test that day, a bad day, he woke up and he said, you know what, I don't care, these state tests don't count. I'm just going to, see my way out and see it all down. And then the teacher gets a bad rating because the kid had a bad day or didn't care about it, because these are not reflected in the children's grades, but the teacher's grades. So that's the Common Core. But I do think we need a method of evaluating our students, right? You want to know, how are they doing statewide? How are they doing nationally? So I think it's important to have some kind of a measure. We have the Regents, but the rest of the country doesn't have that.
Yeah, and even Regents, some schools make everybody get the Regents now?
Well, yeah, so the state is revamping the whole Regents thing. So there's a whole new thing coming out about it, the Portrait of a Graduate, yes.
Okay. I've enjoyed talking to you.
Thank
Is there
you, Tom.
any question that I have not asked you that you want to be asked?
I don't think so, but I just want to say that I said this to one of the reporters who interviewed me, and people come here because they love everything about it, right? I've seen them. They say
they moved to the town.
Right, they moved to Massapequa Park. They love the town. They love the beaches. They love the parks, the village, the schools, and then they get here and they want to change everything. And there's a reason why it works.
Okay, so that's one that I've seen. Is there are we, see, so I'm in a weird spot of I kind of rent a room out of my parents' house and I have a place in the city. It's a long story. And the real estate prices have shot up to a point where
I'm scared. My kids are going to be able to afford to buy a house.
My stand-up joke is I want to move closer to home so I could spend less time with my parents more often. And but I looked at their houses that were $600,000 2 years ago that are $800,000. Are we being gentrified like Williamsburg? Is this because I don't see the hipsters?
No, but I think people are coming out here and the houses are selling in a weekend. And my friend just sold her mother's house on Park Boulevard for $70,000 on Main Street, Park Boulevard, for $70,000.
$700,000, you mean?
$70,000 over asking.
Oh, $70,000 over asking.
I think it went for about $700,000. A small inline ranch. Well, it wasn't a ranch, but like a small inline high ranch, and in a weekend, and people are paying cash. So you can't even.
And so you think that people are coming here because they love Massapequa.
They love Massapequa.
But then they get to know us and they hate us.
Right, and they get to know us and they're like,
or
I want to change
things.
Right, they want to change everything, but you moved here for a reason, right? You moved here because you love the schools, you love the parks, you love the village. It's all run the way you want it to run, and now you get here and you're like, wait a second, I want to change this, this, and this. But there's a reason why you chose to move here, and I don't think anyone's afraid to move here. I think they're clamoring to move here.
Yeah, I mean, I promise you that on the realist. I don't know who's moving here, but there's a lot of people moving into crappy houses that I can't even the fixer-uppers.
With cash. They're $800,000 in cash.
And they're tearing them down. And
they are.
Actually, I'm not going to make my Rex joke now.
Oh, that's a good one. Come on.
No. I'm not going to be the one person I dropped a bomb on.
Okay.
But I'm going to, so this is how so listen, this is the end. I think we're close enough in tying on the time. The one thing, actually, I'll tell you, the one thing that got me into this, everybody's passionate about this stuff. And the whole reason I even care, I think I thought you were a shoo-in. I think Danielle's a shoo-in. And then I think there's so many people saying negative stuff about Bobby that people are starting to pay attention to him. And it's like negative stuff he doesn't deserve. And I don't think you deserve negative stuff either. But I think just the negativity is drawing people into this. Do you think this election cycle could be kinder?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it could be kinder.
Do you wish it were kinder?
I wish we would focus more on children being educated and, again, all the wonderful things that we do in our community and not just these little blips.
Okay. And I'm going to give you one big blip. Folks, I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't know why the hell I'm doing this thing. I'm doing it just because I can, and I have a YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Instagram, Tom Kelly Show, Facebook, Tom Kelly Show. If you want to learn how to podcast, remember our friends at Paradise Studios right here on Ocean Avenue in Massapequa by the train station. But I'm going to give you a chance to close the show. I did this for each candidate. There's your camera. You're going to look right into it. And for 30 or 45 seconds, just talk to them like you're talking to a friend and tell them why we should vote for you May 19th.
Well, please come out. Like Tom said, vote for us Tuesday, May 19th, Cher Lepre and Danielle Acuto. We have the experience and the community involvement to keep Massapequa great.
There you go. And until next time, good night, Massapequa.